Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So in today's video, we will be talking about the weather, obviously, and I will be focusing more kind of on a short, the medium. Actually, I'll just be focusing on everything really, because there isn't really any huge, large event right now. But there is just a lot if you look kind of on the scope of the long term, right? So I'll just be going over that, updating you guys where to expect the rain, kind of where the above average temperatures, the heat waves will be, where the potentially cooler air masses will be, and stuff like that. And of course, kind of updates on the drought, which is actually affecting a almost record amount of the United States in some sort of variety. So if you guys would like to, if you're new to this channel, hello and welcome. I do stuff about the weather, and if you are a returning viewer but not yet subscribed, consider subscribing, liking the video. That it helps out a lot. Dropping comments as well. I answer all my comments. I think almost all of them. So if you have a question, comment, concern, leave it down below. Okay, let's start talking about this. So notice right now we are looking at the radar of the United States. Well, really we are more zoomed in. This is now the United States. Notice what we see. Really a lot of activity, or quite a bit to the north, kind of across Illinois, Indiana, Michigan. None of it's really severe, just some scattered showers and storms. So I shouldn't really even call this extreme activity. Notice to the south we have a decaying set of thunderstorms that pass through Texas, Arkansas, right into now potentially Mississippi River. Yeah, it's definitely on the decrease, but that's where the low pressure is. Definitely a lot of energy with that, and we'll probably continue bringing some showers and storms as it moves to the north. Notice some showers and storms across the south and east. There were some more isolated thunderstorms earlier on in the day. Notice it was this loads is a bit pixelated there. Notice that there, again, you can see right there, this is at 3:15, Macon, Georgia, potentially it was about to get in, and I think it just went to the east of them. But yeah, just a lot of random spotty areas with heavy rain. And then in the last several hours, notice it just conglomerated into this large cluster of moderate to, in some pockets, pretty heavy rain. And yeah, that's now moving into the Carolinas. Probably will be dwindling as the night goes on, but you can see still some decent sized thunderstorms across the south. Notice here we have a cold front, here we have the warm front, the cold front. This low pressure isn't strong, that's why it's so kind of bizarre. Just looking at the look how it happened. It's just these two almost met at one point, and now it's just charging to the north. Again, light to moderate rain in some areas, very heavy rain in those thunderstorms. Further to the north across Michigan, notice Indiana, Ohio, we just have these spotty showers, again, kind of decreasing in coverage as the evening and eventually night wears on. Pretty much will die down to nothing. So yeah, I mean, some areas that needed it got the rain, right? You notice they're very slow moving and they are random. It's basically each thunderstorm moves in its own direction. Some of them move to the north and west, some to the north and east, others from the north to the south. You can see right there. But notice we've had this line set up here, so that probably produced some pretty good heavy rain across my area, Chicago Metro, and areas north. Not much precipitation has fallen, unfortunately, but yeah, I mean, that's just the type of weather this is. Only some areas will get on it, not everyone. And the areas that do could see quite a bit. Notice in terms of severe weather, some more concerning stuff. Look at that, Grand Forks, right? That was a little small thunderstorm cluster, kind of died off. But look what happened further to the south. We got these two large, I wouldn't call them supercells, but large thunderstorms. This one was severe warned. I think it still is. Notice, I just noticed it actually. Got this hook echo a bit here. I don't think that's a tornado, right? But it definitely has potential for large hail. I think this storm reported 2-inch hail. And look, some more developing behind it. We have a large, massive one heading towards Jamestown right now. Again, good news, right? A lot of, I do apologize about that whistle blowing in the background. That was the water cooking, but boiling, right? So notice that this thunderstorm, these areas are in extreme drought, North Dakota, right? So this will obviously bring a lot of rain, but unfortunately with that it could bring some decent sized hail, potentially some wind, and maybe an isolated tornado threat, but that seems low. These will continue to grow and expand and kind of track into North Dakota again and into Minnesota over the overnight hours. So that is definitely something we'll have to keep an eye on for. Notice some storms developing across Colorado into Wyoming, now shifting out into South Dakota. Notice we've had one thunderstorm just parked just east of or west of Rapid City. Again, under that, those conditions, there could be a lot of rain that falls. And notice it's kind of moving to the north and east. So yeah, definitely a lot of areas that could get impacted, right? A lot of areas that not necessarily will get any rain at all. So there's some bad, there's some good news with that. I actually do want to turn on quickly any alerts that are happening. There are several alerts with this storm right here, with that line to the south. Again, torrential rain, but mainly wind, some hail possible as well. But further up north, you can see they have a severe thunderstorm watch, and look at these severe thunderstorm warnings. Yeah, this one is more with the hail. Look at that, 2-inch hail. That's massive. That's I think that's almost baseball size, if not bigger. Look at this one across Jamestown. Another, again, warning, similar, half dollar size hail. That's big. And then 60 mph wind gusts, which is also strong. And the good thing is that there will be some heavy rain with this, but look at that. With that one, it's set right there. Hail 1.25, so that's bad, and that could cause a lot of damage, especially considering how big they are. Notice across Canada, what we have here, we do have, sorry about that, actually some severe thunderstorm watches, and yeah, it is, again, you could see large hail with this one, and this is just a watch, not a warning. Here are some warnings, and you can see that severe thunderstorm warnings, torrential rainfall, or large hail, damaging winds are not released, specifying which one in particular. But yeah, definitely an interesting pattern. And if you see the title of this video, you're probably looking at it and saying, why is it concerning? Well, the thing is, a lot of the United States is in drought, as I already made that clear. Notice that it's, varying from all the way across the southeast into the Virginias and Florida, which, it's not that bad. It's just slightly kind of drier, to across the west, where it's just crippling, especially towards the south and west. Upper plains, again, very, very, very dry. They need that. And across Wisconsin, Illinois, Iowa, also very dry in portions of the northeast. So why is this concerning? Well, obviously the drought is concerning, but the bigger thing with the weather pattern is no real relief is on its way. Now, obviously, if you were to look at a pattern today, for example, 7 o'clock p.m., this looks like a giant rain event, right? Full of rain. Again, the GFS does over dramatize these things because it just doesn't have that fine of a kind of handle on these type of events. But notice, this is not a large scale drought relief, drought buster. Maybe towards the south, it's a bit more significant. But notice, again, this is not as impressive as what the GFS shows. For the end of the week, Tuesday, look at that, same stuff as today, kind of hit or miss. There could be some drought relief out of this low pressure to the north, right, across the Dakotas. None really for the Midwest, the Corn Belt, the food basket. The Southwest, not seeing much either. Notice the Northeast, the East Coast, also seeing some storms, and again, it will be hit or miss. Definitely a bit more hit across the south than miss, as there's more moisture, but to the north, rather more of that mist type. And notice another cluster of large thunderstorms across Friday, June 11th. That could definitely produce quite a bit of rain for those locations and, be a bit less concerning. But look at this, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, just staying high and dry. Now, obviously, a few areas will see a bit of rain from those spotty showers. Again, nothing really to be nothing really to go home about. And then notice across the southeast a bit more, again, the mid-Atlantic, and that low pressure goes further to the north, draping a very miserable cold front. Now, this is already Sunday, so already a week pretty much. Some areas will definitely go without rain across here, and each day will be hot, 80, almost 90 degrees across some areas, maybe even some triple digits. And then notice, right there across Tuesday, a bit of rain across Minnesota, right? Again, it kind of dwindles as it pushes to the south and east. Not much relief for the Midwest, including the upper plains that kind of develop south of that. The southwestern United States, the northwest does get a bit here, not much. Notice the southern United States, right? Obviously, seeing quite a bit of rain. Rain chances, that's normal still. Definitely on a drier side. Look at that. We see some sort of a tropical disturbance at around the latter part of June, and that pushes through. Could draw quite a bit of rain into the east, southeast there. And then finally, we could see some more substantial precip event, but that's only June 21st, and that's not a guarantee. So yeah, it's definitely going to be a concern as to whether or not there will be rain that comes here and actually helps out. Look at that storm or tropical disturbance. It actually develops into a pretty nasty system that's been kind of trending with the models for quite a while. But again, for now, it seems to stay well off the coast, and even if it does hit the coast, it seems to be weak. These storms will begin to have more and more of an impact, and if it's as active as last year, or even a bit, kind of just a little bit as active as last year. A lot of these will bring rain to the south, but again, most of them don't make it very far to the north. And you can see there's a bit of rain to the north, but it's just not a overall wet pattern for the Midwest, the food basket, right? The Northeast also. I mean, if you're to take a look at the 2 meter or the total accumulated precipitation, a lot of the rain across the south. This is just for the next, I think, 240 hours, so around 10 days. Notice, right? Quite a bit across the upper plains. Here, this is probably overdone, as again, the GFS, as you saw, for the first days like today and tomorrow, it showed the whole map being green, and again, it's more of a hit or miss type event. So yeah, it's not really good. It's definitely a drier pattern, and again, maybe a bit more towards the south and portions of the Mid-Atlantic, but it definitely a tricky situation we have going on here. This doesn't go out to 384 hours. I could show you the prior GFS model run. Notice, right, quite a bit across Florida, Georgia maybe, but this is almost 20 days almost, right? And a lot of locations here will get maybe half to 1 inch, and they're already very dry. Again, no drought busters. And again, the GFS probably over exaggerating with some of these amounts. So yeah, it's not really good. The models are also lacking confidence. Notice this is the Canadian, probably more realistic to what's going to happen, as it doesn't over exaggerate some of these events. Notice, right? Few areas will see rain, but anywhere else, I mean, goodness, look at Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, southern Wisconsin, southern Minnesota. Some areas might go the next 10, 15 days with not a single drop of rain, and that's been on top of already the whole month of May. Almost some areas didn't see any rain here. Yeah, it's definitely going to be bad. That's concerning unless we don't get any more significant rain. If years that come to memory are right away 2012, but that 2012, most areas that were so badly hit had a wetter spring. If you were to look at the U.S. Drought Monitor, Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin areas in 2012 at this time, June of 2012, had more rain, and they weren't in a drought yet. Now, obviously, 2012 had extreme heat. Whether or not we will see that, we'll have to see, but, it did start off, we're already starting off at a worse place than we did then. Hopefully a repeat doesn't happen, but I could just imagine that a lot of these moderate, and abnormally dry areas will expand. The southeast may get lucky because of the tropical help. The northeast, it doesn't look too good for you guys either. The south and the southwest, the west, it doesn't look good either. So yeah, the rain's just going to fall where they least need it, across Texas and Louisiana, where they're just absolutely swamped. European model, let me show you. Notice, right, hit or miss threat. Look at that. Today, tomorrow, right across the northeast, the east, and the Midwest. And then into Wednesday, more scattered activity. Again, no drought busters. Again, probably overdone by this European model. This is now into Thursday, probably a very active day, but again, kind of across central Illinois, the south, where they already have quite a bit of precipitation. You can see it avoids the northeast, just kind of slides off. And then several days of just very, very dry weather. Low pressure trying to develop here, nothing really significant, potentially bringing some rain to the northeast. But otherwise, the European model, the next 10 days, doesn't show much precipitation as well, especially for the areas that kind of need it the most. And notice, even if the southeast does end up getting this much rain, a lot of these areas aren't in a drought, excluding for portions of the Outer Banks. But look at that, Iowa, that's miserable. A few hundredths of a tenth of an inch, and with extreme heat in the 90s, if you were to see 4/100ths of an inch every day, that wouldn't be enough, let alone for the next 10 days. Obviously, these models they're not always accurate, but unfortunately, the trend has been already like this for the whole month of April and May and June. So it would have to be kind of overturned in some sort of manner. Notice again, even say you could see those purple colors for say an inch across Illinois or Michigan, that wouldn't even put a dent into the drought, into the dry conditions, as usually these areas see, if you're to average out kind of the whole monthly precipitation over 30 days. For my location, it's about 1/1500ths of an inch, so 1.5 of an inch a day. It's usually what it averages out to. Obviously, it doesn't come like that. It comes in 1 to 2 inch bouts, especially during the summer with thunderstorms. But that brings us to another thing. This year, the National Weather Service office in my area has issued 2 severe thunderstorm warnings. Last year at this time was 252, and while last year may seem like that was a ton, that's way closer to average than 2. That is an extreme anomaly. So yeah, extreme quietness of any severe weather across the Midwest. There may have been one event, and those severe thunderstorms never really were even severe. That definitely has been focused towards the south, the severe weather this year. So yeah, definitely a concerning pattern. The East Coast, you may get lucky with that precipitation, but to the west, not so much. Yeah, the Southwest. I mean, you could see also nothing, and the drought's already super super bad. So just that's even worse. Let's take a look at some other models, like the UK Meteorological Office model, a decent model, honestly. And let's take a glance at what it shows. Again, to the south and east, the trend is across southern Canada, not much anywhere else, pretty much. Even excludes the northeast, which is pretty bad. And if you were to take a look into, for example, some of the high-res models, like the NAM, goes out to 84 hours. Yeah, they're pretty much on the same page, keeping a lot of that rain to the south and east, and a few amounts here, especially across Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, a bit across Ohio, Pennsylvania, Indiana. Some areas obviously could see a lot, like if you were to look at the interactive radar for today, if you were to live across Kankakee and Pontiac, Illinois, I'm just choosing random locations because they got the rain, you might think, oh, it's super wet, everybody got rained on. But in reality, you can see everywhere else it's pretty much high and dry. And it's, these could have picked up 2 to 3 inches of rain, almost maybe got even some flooding. Everywhere else, they would need some of that rain, and it's not looking too good. If you did get that rain, consider yourself lucky because, as you could see, I mean, out of all the places, it's definitely less. It's definitely more areas that don't have it that do have it. And the same stories even across the south. Maybe a bit more across the south, a bit not as scattered because of the higher moisture, but still definitely something too. I clicked on that because I was curious, what is that gray color? But that's significant weather advisory. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much all I just wanted to go over. Yeah, a concerning pattern. The drought hopefully doesn't get worse, but I mean, you could see Iowa already. Portions of it already are in severe drought, especially Iowa, because maybe Illinois could get in on some of this ridging from the rain. That seems to be the pattern, right? But you can see right there. But look at that. I mean, they could see nothing pretty much the next 10 to 15 days, with temperatures being well above average. If you were to take a look at it, 2-meter temperature anomaly, that's 240 hours out. Let's just take a look at 0 and run this through. Notice the northern plains, the eastern United States staying hot, hot, hot. Maybe the west, southwest getting a bit cooler at times, and potentially where the cloud cover is across the tropics. Look at that. That is massive ridge across the northwest, and that eventually does spill in further to the south. So yeah, not good with the heat that they're getting. This is in the dry conditions. Look at that, 80s during the night, 82 during the day, blistering. So not good. Hopefully this does change, but it doesn't look likely at this point. Just hope for the best, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode. See ya.